My name is Monica Gleberman, and you're listening to Silence on Set podcast. On today's podcast, we're talking to the cast of Everyone is Doing Great about its latest season. For season 2, we find former co-stars and lovers Jeremy, Andrea, Seth, and Izzy are being pulled back together as they grapple with the fallout of love, loss, and fame. So to talk about the show and what it's like for season 2, here's James Lafferty, who plays Jeremy, Alexandra Park, who plays Andrea, Stephen Colletti, who plays Seth, and Cariba Heine, who plays Izzy. I wanted to ask, I guess, all four of you, but I'll start with James. What was it like in terms of working on this project? Were you nervous about going like too far or being a little too accurate when it came to showing kind of what happens behind the scenes? Because I think people have this misnomer, which you guys addressed, I think, in the first episode, that when you have one hit show, one hit movie, one hit thing, you're set for life. You're rich, you're in all these movies, and that's just, unfortunately, not how this business goes.
It all felt like an opportunity, to be honest. All of those reasons that you just mentioned were kind of what made us feel like there was actually a story to tell. Because I think, we've all wanted to get, behind the camera in different ways, writing, directing, just telling stories, telling our own stories. And they always say, write what you know, but it's difficult to come up with a good story if you don't have conflict, right? And so, in a way, life post that kind of success gives you a sort of inherent conflict to deal with and allows you to, come up with the characters that you can put in this world. And so it's really what drew us to it. And especially because we wanted to make a comedy, we knew we wanted to do something about friendship. We knew we wanted to do something about, the reasons that life is worth living and have, comedy and humor balance us through that. It just seemed like the things that we were starting to see in our own lives and the world around us was really right for all of it. So
yeah. And Stephen, for you, obviously the two of you, Jeremy and Seth, are friends and, kind of covering each other, helping each other out, which again, friends in real life. So was that fun to kind of go to extremes and show what it would be like if, your friend's doing coke in the bathroom and getting arrested or like things like that? Was it fun to play all of that?
I think with, even with, to James's question about playing with, how much of the industry and what you want to show, we've seen some crazy things over the years and been witnessed all sorts of things with our different relationships, the girls as well. I mean, we commiserate together with stories of experience that we've been in, to go out and to really push those limits. I feel like it was really exciting when it was like, is this too much? When you get to those places, I feel like you're operating in a good spot. Not all the time are you going to continue to push it necessarily, but I feel like if it's scaring you a little bit, and then I think that's where you're getting somewhere raw and something that would probably feel more real, because maybe we're always a little concerned about exposing ourselves too much in a way. But as we've all come together to tell these stories, it's been really fun to just see how far we could take it, to elevate it. There has to be big stakes in comedy. I think that it was important for us to put that in there when we're drafting these stories through all these characters. Absurdity is something that we wanted to play with, because let's be real, like life is absurd many times where it's like you can't write this. Mm-hmm. And trying to capture a little bit of that dynamic is what we were going for. And when you bring us four together and the rest of our team and we tell all the stories together, like it's just in the writing process with Alex and James, myself and Stu, and telling stories, like we're swapping stories back and forth of like some of the absurd shit that happens. We're like, we want to be able to tell this story and share these moments that people should find fascinating.
Yeah. And talk about icebreaker. I would say the first minute or 2 minutes of the first episode probably broke the ice, I would feel like, in terms of feeling insecure with the scenes that you guys show. So I'm sure that kind of helped you break ice. For the women who wrangled in you men today, I wanted to ask both of you, for your characters are kind of the opposite of the boys in terms of they're doing relatively well. And it's kind of what happens when lightning hits a bottle, right? That sometimes you do better in life than other people, and we're all in different areas of life and at different times. So what was it like for you guys joining the project and playing those characters that were a little less dramatic than maybe the guys were in?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it's always fun to play the characters that are maybe kind of riddled with like a smidge of naivety about the way things go. I think especially going into the second season, this all kind of flips on its head for the girls. Like in life, in actual life, life, you can be like Izzy and Andrea as a comparison to Seth and Jeremy, who are kind of, quite peachy and creamy in what's going on with their lives, and sort of, come on, Jeremy, like, what are you doing? And I'll be the first to sort of let you know how life's going for me, and it's all very good. And then bam, something happens, and suddenly you're back at square one. You're back at the drawing board. To answer your question, I think to play that kind of smugness and sort of confidence and kind of maybe a bit of an upper hand against these guys that they love so much with all of their hearts was a lot of fun. But it's also, I'm excited for everyone to see kind of what happens in the next season, because we really elevate things, and it's basically the girls are not where they were in the first season by any means. It's kind of the polar opposite. Much like life, we wanted to just create a real reflection of how life can go. You can be in the fast lane and suddenly you are bumped up. You are not moving. You are not good. So it's a beautiful thing to be able to move with these characters that we created, where there's just no limits to what goes on with them. And we sort of got to kind of adapt on the fly. And that's definitely a dream to play a character that is just so real and so just in this life that's constantly swinging like a pendulum,
It's really fun. Yeah, I think it's cathartic to play both of the sides of that coin, where on one side, it's fun to play that world where everything is working out for you. It's fantastic, and you can, be a little bit.
That's such a girl thing too, by the way, because before you guys came on, I was like, oh gosh, fixing the hair, where all the girls like, that's such a great but yeah, brushing it off, how awesome you guys are.
Thank you. It's rad. I mean, that is the beauty of the show. And yes, certainly in season 2, we just take it even further. The whole story's just elevated in so many different ways, and we can't wait for everyone to see sort of where it goes. I mean, we had a lot more voices in the making of the second season as well. Because we're a small film family, every single member of our cast and crew are essential to what we've been doing and what we do every day. It's there, like James, I think he said, that it's not just us. There's a lot more brains and hearts and souls and energies that go into this. But we were so thrilled for the second season to have the ability to open that up. I actually wrote 2 of the episodes in season 2, because the boys and I sort of talked about wanting to make sure we had that female voice coming through in a very real way. No offense, guys. I think you kind of need a woman for. So it was awesome to have that. And then we had Michelle Lang, who's one of our executive producers, step in as a director for a couple of the episodes. Na Nguyen as well, stepping in as an executive producer. And Stuart Lafferty, James's brother, came in as a writer. And it's just kind of bigger and bigger and bigger. And there's so many more sort of different lenses that we're sort of feeling things and seeing different things through. And I just went there with all that. You didn't even ask me about that.
I love it. You guys can't do any wrong. I love both of you, so it's all good.
There's a lot of love in making the show with everyone that's on the team. So
so much love.
It translates on screen as well.
I was gonna say, I hope so between some of you, because that would make sense. If there wasn't love, we'd be in trouble. Before we get to, I kind of want to talk about the finale into what we can see for season 2, but I have some questions, which you guys are gonna laugh at me, but I binge watched the show. So first off, James, did you ever get yelled at from Alex for leaving a window open? Is that what inspired all of this, or the fact that you didn't want to have a party? I think in the next episode, you don't want to have a party at your house because you're gonna get in trouble. So did that start from you two?
I think I only get in trouble if I close windows. Alex is Australian, so it's all about the breeze. You know what I mean?
He's always, I open the windows and he's closing the windows. I'm like, leave it open.
Like, let the air come in. Yeah. So it's the opposite. So he just wrote it as the opposite. Yeah, or somebody wrote it as the opposite. That's funny. How is it also with the two of you getting to fight? Because obviously, yes, you fight in real life. Like, yes, you guys are together in real life. But what is it in terms of fighting? Is that fun to just be like, yeah, today we're going in, we're going to fight, and nothing I'm saying means anything to you other than when we're in front of the camera?
At that point, you're really trying to get into the head of the character. Like, I gotta say, not to sound too much like a thespian, but like, I really feel like when we go into these scenes, it's not us anymore. You know, we are really trying to get into the heads of, stay in the heads of the characters. And part of, our process is it's semi-improvisational. So you never really know what's going to come out of the other person's mouth. And it just keeps you hyper vigilant. It keeps you always paying attention and locked in. And so your world becomes the scene, very much so. And so, yeah, I think, like, for me, at least, it's not a strange experience, to be honest.
I was like, see if Alex says anything. And she was like, I'm not going to say anything.
Oh, about the fighting? No, definitely. No, I agree with what James said. I mean, all of it is fun. Like playing these characters that we created. You know, we love these characters. We made them for a reason. The guys wrote them for a reason, and every kind of component of making the show is fun, even when it's terrifying and we're dead on the floor. It's fun, but absolutely, I think in those, you're very much in the character, and that's why we do the improv. Like James just said, you know, it's like you are just in it. You are these characters 150%, and it's a very, very cool feeling. That's why we do it, because you sort of transform into, you know, completely. There's nothing holding you back from it's just you and whoever you're you know, talking to in the scene, and it's a very real conversation. And wherever that goes, if it's into a screaming match or if it's something, you know, hilarious, it's just it's entirely engaged. And so, I mean, that's a very liberating feeling for an actor, regardless of what's going on.
And then Stephen, for you, is that how you prepare when you get a script? Are you running around the room, repeating your lines over in different ways? I was just cracking up. So I got to ask where some of this stuff got inspired from. I love that scene, and I love all the audition stuff. The pillow, which, listen, I've seen some crazy auditions. I've been outside before. They asked you to do some crazy shit. That stuff I was cracking up. But for you, in terms of preparing as an actor, any similarities there between you and your...
I usually just crawl under a rock and second guess all my choices. So it's a very painful process for me. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, I feel like any actor is out there, you know, talking to their pictures on the wall or any stuffed animals they might have. Not that I have too many stuffed animals. That would be kind of weird. I'm 37. Figurines, action figures. That's not weird either, right? Whatever I could talk to, I will talk to certain things. I'll look around.
I know he brought up an action figure over at some point or another.
I was gonna say, like, where is that? I'm learning so much about you guys right now.
There is, yeah. There's always, but yeah, I'm trying to remember. So
you were like frogging it on the floor. You were making love to a pillow.
Oh yes, yeah.
Constantly
No,
over.
you know, yeah.
Getting that audition where it's like, oh, I'm so excited, and then you find out you're on page like 18, and you have a couple lines, and then you're dead. Those kind of fun things with auditioning.
Everyone has a process, and mine usually involves a pillow.
Headline of the interview. Cariba for Isabella. I love her. Talk about her arc for season 1 and what it was like playing her and kind of being involved with this whole thing with everybody.
Many questions to answer in that one. I mean, in terms of just being involved with it, obviously it's the ultimate dream as an actor to have your friends write something for you that's also as funny and good as EDG is. So there's that side of it. There's the other side where Isabel sort of feels like someone that I potentially could have been as well, which is really, really fun to go into and play around with. And then in terms of that arc, I think we sort of had somewhat of an idea of what was going to happen if we could go beyond series 1. So it was really fun to really like lean into the naivety of, you know, everything being so fantastic and being on your high horse and everything looking fantastic to everyone else in the world, knowing full well that there's going to be the, you know, pending topple of everything that happens, and the higher you go, the bigger the fall is. So that's been really, really fun as well. And in terms of how low Isabel and Andrew go in second season, it was a really, really fun setup from series 1 into what we've just shot and how bad it gets.
I feel like there's so much freedom, probably because there's a lot of family involved, friends, and things like that. There's a lot of freedom in the show. You can see that freedom, and you can see the way it's shot. You can see the way that you guys act in it. I mean, it's so well done. There's so much trust there. So I wanted to ask you about that freedom and what that felt like, having that opportunity to kind of say what you want and throw things out there, and best line kind of wins, and that collaborative, fun experience. And then what can we expect leading into season 2?
To the first part of your question, it is very freeing, this process. It's also kind of terrifying because we live in this sort of in-between world where you've got to be prepared, but you can't be over-prepared so that you feel like you can't be surprised by anything, or you don't have anything surprising to offer. You always want to come into a scene, I feel like, with a curveball here or there. You always want to come in with things to try, but you also want to be incredibly receptive and almost naive in a way in terms of what you're going to expect, because you really want to be figuring out the scene with your scene partner moment to moment. And that's really where the gold comes from. And, you know, you never really walk away from a scene knowing exactly what that scene's going to look like. You know, we don't actually find that until we go into the edit and we mine things out. And we're always always surprised by what comes out. It's always better than what we thought it was going to be. It's kind of shocking how you can feel like, you know that you were there, but when you see the finished product, you're like, oh wow, I had no idea that happened. That particular thing happened. So that's what's really magical about it, and that's what we really hope comes across on screen. That all of that is just heightened with season 2 because our world opens up so much with Alex and Cariba's characters. The characters, instead of 2 characters bouncing off of each other for the most part, it's 4 characters, all of them bouncing off of each other in very different ways. So it's just more of all that good stuff.
Yeah, we have a lot of great guest stars coming in as well. One of my favorite things about the final episode of the first season, you start to see the whole gang. We're all together, and to the dynamic that James is describing. And so you get a lot of that in season 2, which is really what we've been building towards, is wanting to get to that space. But then also, now that we've had a season, we're able to go to some of our really talented actor friends who are like, do you want to be on our TV show now? Now that they've seen a season, they're like, yeah, I'm down. Actually, I know. Yeah. So we've got all these amazing guest stars. We brought in a bunch of other friends we've all got great chemistry with. Just to name a few people, we've got
name them. Steven, tell us everything. Name it all.
We brought back people from the first season. Carissa Staples, who was in a few episodes. Sean Kerrigan, some great actors. We had to bring back some fan favorites in that direction, but then of course some new ones as well. We have Jamie Chung, Phoenix Washington, Jess McNamee, Brian Greenberg, Reese Wakefield. Yeah, some great performances that are also very exciting. So we've upped the ante in season 2, and we can't wait to share that because we feel really good about it as far as what we're seeing. And a lot of that is just, having, expanding the voices, having Alex write a couple episodes, and Stu Lafferty wrote one as well. Like it really it brought more voices into the picture, and you see that reflected in a lot more characters and a lot more character arcs. It all makes for a really exciting stew.
Cannot wait. I hope it's like as raunchy and crazy as ever because this industry is nuts. So I'm very excited.
Believe you me, it is. And then smile.
Alex, what is it for you and Cariba, for you guys, for where your characters are and then heading into season 2 and all of that stuff?
Yeah, well, so basically, so season 1 was basically the girls were in good shape, right? They were kind of, everything that the guys wanted in their lives but didn't know how to get, I suppose. The girls thought they had it all figured out, and basically, yeah, it's a true reflection of how the pattern of life goes. It's like one minute everything's great, the next minute it's not. You're unraveling at a very rapid pace for various reasons that you did not expect or see coming, and that's what happens with the girls. So it's literally flipped to the other side, and they're leaning on each other, and they're leaning on the boys are leaning on the girls, and to play that kind of journey from someone who thinks they've got it all figured out, like ducks in a row, and everything's perfect, to then kind of playing someone who's changing their tune on how they feel about everything, and is second guessing everything and questioning everything, is an amazing journey to explore as an actor, to go there with a character. And I feel like that's sort of something that we made a point of with Izzy and Andrea. It's something that's relatable, particularly for everyone, but for women. It's like one minute you think you got it all figured out, and the next minute you don't. That is the way life goes. And so we wanted to dive to the very deep end of that scenario that so many people everywhere doing whatever they're doing experience. It's like everything's great, bam, nothing's good. You are just, you're knocked on your head, and you've got to find your way back. And so to be able to do that has been incredible. And just exactly what the guys said. I mean, this is just, we've got 4 characters that are very intertwined, and we're bouncing off all of them. And it's bigger. It's so much bigger. There's so much more juicy story arcs going on.
More drama.
Well. Yeah. So there was, season 2, we maintain all of that bizarre comedy. We've not taken any of that away. That goes up.
You guys have upped it apparently, which I'm scared but excited.
Well, definitely, but also, we wanted to incorporate the dramatic moments as well, because we think that not only are they important and interesting, and they make audience feel less alone, because life is not always a big comedy. Sometimes it's pretty bloody serious. So we wanted to do that, but then in doing that, in adding, high stakes, real issues to these characters, you're also kind of upping the comedy in another way as well. it's just, we did it once and now we did it again and we knew what we were doing. And we're really excited for everyone to see it.
And Cariba, how about you? What are you looking forward to? What chaos did they put you through for next season?
I think I'm really looking forward to what I was saying with the added drama coming in terms of what the world has been through since the first series as well. So without living in a world with COVID, we really now are delving into like very, very serious issues around grief and loss and all of those sorts of things. So I'm really excited to have people be able to watch that. And I think it's going to be just as bingeable, but I think people are going to be surprised again at how much heart is in the series as well as how, how much more heightened we've made some of those situations that we find ourselves in.
I wanted to end with, obviously you guys started this out with an Indiegogo, right? It just blew up into a show. Hulu took it. You have a season 2 coming. We want a season 3. So is there anything that you want to say to the fans that just love you guys so much? I mean, there are fans from like One Tree Hill to other projects that you guys have done. I could list the whole thing out and we would be here for an hour of all the stuff that you guys have done collectively, all 4 of you. But is there anything that you want to say to them that are just so excited and cannot wait? And like, we just love it. I don't know if we're all like, just love the raunchy stuff or whatever, or the situations you guys put yourselves in, but we love it. I cannot wait to see it.
I mean, thank you for saying that. And I mean, I guess there's not enough time here to thank, I guess articulate how grateful we are to the fans for making this happen, because they did in such a real way, but not just with crowdfunding, just with their spirit and their enthusiasm, their willingness to take this leap with us from, the shows that we were on to something like this that is raw and that is, tonally a bit different. I think all of it together, people that showed up at screenings, people that ask us about it at conventions, it all really makes us feel like, we did something here. That's all we ever wanted to do. So I think for all of us, it's just endless gratitude and thank you. And we really hope that you guys like what's coming next.
Hope you guys enjoyed listening to James Lafferty, Alexandra Park, Stephen Colletti, and Cariba Heine talk about what fans can expect for season 2. I would like to mention that this is a filmmaking family of 9 executive producers, all of which are listed below in the description. But just to name a few, you have James Lafferty, Stephen Colletti, Alexandra Park, in addition to the Nelms brothers, Johnny Durango, and more. In addition to their roles as EPs and actors, Lafferty and Colletti penned all of season 2, and as co-leads, Alexandra Park and Stuart Lafferty joined as writers as well on several episodes. Additionally, Colletti returned behind the lens for 2 episodes, and new directors for the series include Michelle Lang and Johnny Durango. So make sure you go and check it out. The show was originally acquired by Hulu and Paramount Plus for season 1, so head over there to stream it. And for episode 1 of the new season, it will be showcased at Series Fest on May 7th, at the ATX Festival in June, and at the Monte Carlo Festival on June 18th. So make sure you head over to the websites and try to get tickets and check it out. Some of them are offering virtual tickets, so see what those offer so you can check out at least the panel and maybe some of the content, and maybe even get a sneak peek into the first episode of season 2. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you're updated on all of our latest podcasts, and head over to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe so you're updated on all of our video content.